Welcome, new connection, or to put it another way, hello. I'm Alex Bragdon from the YouTube channel Alex Bragdon and Twitter @Alex Bragdon. Are you sensing a pattern? Gosh, I sure hope so, otherwise I'd be worried for your mental health. You might want to get something checked out in your brain if that didn't cause a pattern recognition to go off. Never mind. Anyway, I mentioned the places where you can find me elsewhere on the internet because, of course, we are talking about connections, and I have just made a connection with you, dear viewer, if this is the first time you've ever seen or heard me or anything about me. And in fact, Dave has kindly asked me to talk about connections, in particular, connections I've made over the summer. Well, summer doesn't really have anything to do with it, but VidCon does, because I was one of the lucky 18,000 individuals who were able to make it to this year's VidCon and meet up with a whole bunch of people that I had made connections with previously on the internet, and in fact make new connections to new and more interesting, well, not more interesting, new and interesting people. And then because of the connections I had made previously and the connections I wanted to try to cultivate, I became a groupie and decided to start following the band Driftless Pony Club. See? These guys. And I followed them up the West Coast and made very interesting connections all along the way. People like Martha, a wonderful nerdfighter who was also being a groupie for the band Driftless Pony Club, and we met and talked quite a bit, and it was nice to have a familiar face as we moved up the coast. Of course, the other familiar faces were, of course, the members of the band Driftless Pony Club, and Hank Green, of course, the founder of Don't Forget to Be Awesome and all that fun stuff, and the whole reason that this channel exists, so we're kind of all connected through him. And of course, John, we can't forget John, who actually may have come up with the word Nerdfighters. Of course, it was on a video arcade cabinet, so can we really see either of them came up with Nerdfighters? I don't know. Anyway, obscure Nerdfighter history aside, people are amazing, and people like to make connections, and the internet helps cultivate those connections, because the internet is in itself a bunch of connections. It's why I think that we do so well on the internet, because it's a bunch of connections, and we like to make connections, and it's like green peas and blue peas. I have no idea where I was going with that. That's my new phrase from now on. Whenever I want to say two things are similar, they're like green peas and blue peas, because they're both peas and they're both near the greenish blue end of the visual spectrum, so there. Anyway, you and I are connecting right now, even though I have no idea what your name is, and that's why YouTube is such a fantastic platform, and that's why we've continued to do some of these amazing, fantastic things, and why things like VidCon can happen, where we get together and play board games, and go to concerts, and have amazing times, and we can have friends, and we can go there and know that we know people, and if we don't know that we know people, we can very easily find people. One of the most interesting and memorable stories for me personally at this year's VidCon was actually a story from the previous VidCon. One of my good friends, Vanilla Martini Carey, had gone to the previous VidCon, and you know, I probably wouldn't even know anything about her except for the fact that one of my other friends, Ann Lukens, reached out to her and was like, hey, you're alone, let's hang out. And that's exactly what I think VidCon should be about, not just the strengthening of old connections, but the cultivating of new ones. So connections are amazing, and it's really easy to make awesome connections on this platform, and it's fantastic. If I said it's fantastic enough in this video yet, I sure hope not. Fantastic! The YouTube community and Twitter and everything about it is fantastic. So I'll leave you with some advice. Make new connections. Have fun. Go to VidCon if you can. If you can't, well, then connect with people over Skype or Twitter or Tumblr or whatever medium that you so choose. Because connections are important, and if you're not connecting with people and you're just sitting there watching videos, well, that's basically only a third of the fun. I went a very long time just watching YouTube videos and not trying to interact and engage with the community at all. And I'm fairly certain that's not a lot of you guys watching this video right now, but it could be. And I think it's important that you start interacting. Interestingly enough, Mr. Stuart Ashens, who Dave mentioned in his video as one of the people that he'd connected with, is also pretty much the first person I started watching on YouTube. Which I say is interesting because it's a connection that Dave and I intrinsically had, and that I didn't realize that Dave and I had in common. So yeah, people are amazingly complex, their numbers are random, so you probably have a lot more in common than you think you might. So get out there, get connected, be amazing, and importantly, don't forget to be awesome.